won't see the phone. Their lives change. Come on. I got a girl from New Orleans. Their lives change. She's the pretty little thing you never can see. Their lives change. Oh, their lives change. Baby, oh, their lives change. Everybody say, oh, their lives change. Happy Jazz Fest. Oh, their lives change. Woke up in the morning before the sunlight. Lives change. I told everybody we gon' have much fun. Lives change. Said hoopin' and hollin' and ooh nah nah. Lives change. Said oh we gon' party like it's Mardi Gras Day. Lives change. Say oh their lives change. Everybody. Your grandma goes set your ass on fire. Oh, my pop friend, your pop friend, set my fire. My pop friend, your pop friend, go set your world on fire. Talking about hey now, hey now, hey now, hey now. Yo, I got it. Oh, Jackie Mofino and that day. Jackie Mofino, he talking about hey now, hey now, hey now, hey now. I got it. Jackie Mofino and that day. Jackie Mofino that day. Just tonight. Oh, we try to get to heaven from tail of a kite. I go, oh, the kite then popped down. He fell. I go, now we try to get to heaven, but he went to slide there. I go, I'm talking about hey now, hey now, hey now, hey now. I go, one day. Oh, Jackie Mofino on that day. Jackie Mofino that day. Talking about hey now, hey now, hey now, hey now. Jackie Mofino and that day. Jackie Mofino that day.
right, we all got kinfolk. That's the Kinfolk Brass Band, one of the best we got. And that is Kermit Ruffin, known worldwide. Well, we have an important message today for the people in New Orleans, for the people of this state, and really for everybody in America. Jazz Fest is back. And it opens up 30 days from now. And to let you all know what that really means, we're honored to be joined by the governor of the state of Louisiana, John Bel Edwards.
Thank you, Quint. And I'm excited because Jazz Fest is back. It's been a couple of years, and I know it's been a tough year. Nobody needs to tell me that. But I want to thank everybody who's involved in any way with Jazz Fest and making this part of what we come to know and love about Louisiana and New Orleans, but also for doing their very best to keep people safe during the COVID pandemic. And Quint, I know the decisions were not easy, but you did the right thing. And I'm happy to tell you that as we gather today, our numbers on COVID are the best they have been since the beginning of the pandemic. We have less than 100 people in the hospital. The percent positivity is about 0.5%. The case growth is at an all-time low. And so we can get together and we can celebrate. We can have a good time. You know, we were not doing all of our festivals there for a while. We were paused. But we can get together, we can dance together again, and that's what we're celebrating today. I'm excited about it for all of those reasons. You know, we have a unique culture and history here in Louisiana. We have the best artists, including the best musicians anywhere in the world, and we need to be able to showcase that. And we draw people from all over the world, all over the country. But it's also important that people live right here in Louisiana and New Orleans, that they have an opportunity to bring their children and their grandchildren to enjoy what is so special about this place that we call home. And it's also a big economic impact. And I know it's spread out over several weekends, so you don't realize it. But the economic impact from the Jazz Fest is on par with that of a Super Bowl. So Quint, we are so delighted that we're going to be able to have this event again this year with a tremendous lineup. I can't wait to come back myself and to enjoy Jazz Fest this year. But I want everybody to be excited about Jazz Fest, about returning to New Orleans here in 2022. Let's make it the best Jazz Fest ever. And let's make it the safest Jazz Fest ever. Thank you all so much, and God bless.
That's our governor. He's not kidding about coming back. He's the first governor to come to Jazz Fest right off the bat. Now, speaking of the mayor, she was coming to Jazz Fest long before she was mayor, because she's a part of the culture. But more than that, she has stuck through with us everything we've gone through for these 3 years, each time going to all her department heads and saying, look, Jazz Fest is the top priority for this city. That's how we're going to approach it. That's our Jazz Fest mayor. Speaking for her today is Lisa Alexis, who's the president and CEO of New Orleans Tourism and Cultural Fund, which is also supporting the festival. Lisa?
Good afternoon. Wow, we are here. We are back the first time in 3 years. We're now ready. Are you ready to experience world-renowned music, 12 stages, music from all over the world, artists, artisans, artifacts, and the like? Well, we are ready. And I would like to thank you, Quint, for having us. On behalf of Mayor Cantrell, I'm Lisa Alexis, and I also serve as the director of the Mayor's Office of Cultural Economy. And as you know, we recently celebrated a safe Mardi Gras to ignite and stimulate our economy. And taking those dedicated sacrifices and measures, the mayor has now led us on and forward, and here we are ready to experience Jazz Festival. In doing, yes, it's great, it's great. In doing so, we are so excited because just as our Governor Edwards just mentioned, it is a huge impact economic impact to our city. We are anticipating from all numbers and indications from reservations at this time that we will exceed for Jazz Fest higher hotel occupancies above 90% than we experienced during Mardi Gras. So we're looking forward to that revenue, to our workers and our workforce coming back. We're very excited. We are currently excited, and I'd just like to acknowledge all of you who are a part of our cultural industries, our cultural practitioners, our cultural office. If my team would just raise their hand, because as we've just come out of Mardi Gras, we are right now in the NCAA Men's Final Four. We're going to go into French Quarter Festival, and then we're going to land right here with our Jazz Fest. So I would just like to acknowledge the fact that we are anticipating tens of millions of dollars that will stimulate and work through this economy, and it's going to continue to have our workforce and our cultural industries strong. So thank you so much. And I'd also like to give a special thanks to our title sponsor, Shell, because we are very excited to have Shell as our partner sponsor. So thank you again, and I'm excited, as you can tell, and looking forward to continuing our festing rather than in place here at the fairgrounds. Thank you.
Okay. In Louisiana, the lieutenant governor is responsible for culture, recreation, and tourism. Well, culture, recreation, and tourism. That would be us. And this year, they've joined the festival as one of our principal supporters and partners. Here today to represent Billy Nungesser, our lieutenant governor, who's been a great supporter of this festival from day one, Billy Nungesser, is Kristen Sanders. She's the Assistant Secretary of the Louisiana Office of Cultural Development, and they too are participating in Jazz Fest.
Well, thank you. On behalf of the Lieutenant Governor and Culture, Recreation, and Tourism, we are so thrilled to be a sponsor of Jazz Fest this year. As you've heard from the Governor, Jazz Fest has such a huge impact on the tourism industry here in Louisiana, but also on our music industry. And so to have it back this year, to bring hundreds of thousands of people from across the state and the world to Louisiana, to give our musicians an opportunity to be on stages again, and for new people to discover their favorite Louisiana musicians. We're very, very excited to be a part of this, and look forward to seeing you in a month. Thank you.
Okay, well, everybody's here to help support this festival and bring it back, and believe me when they say it takes a village to raise a child. So we want to recognize and thank them for their support, the New Orleans City Council, who's right there with us and right there with the mayor. And they've come to be with us today, which we really appreciate. Joseph Geruso with the third from District A, Leslie Harris from District B, Freddie King the third from District C, Eugene Green, District D, and Oliver Thomas from District E. So we thank them for their support, and they're looking forward to the festival just as much as we are. Now, once again, Shell has helped support this festival. After Katrina, obviously, they put the festival back up. But now they're stepping in to sponsor the Gentilly stage. There's no festival I know of that's had a better sponsor, has been a better partner. I mean, they are the presenter of the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Festival, and they have been with us for ever since Katrina, you know, which is going on 15 or 16 years. So it's just been a wonderful underpinning of this festival. It's that important. So we're happy to have with us today the Senior Vice President for the Gulf of Mexico for Shell, Colette Hurstis.
Good afternoon. My name is Colette Hurstis, Senior Vice President for the Gulf of Mexico for Shell, and I was born and raised in New Orleans, Gentilly to be exact. And it has been 8 years since I've been able to attend Jazz Fest because I've been living out of the country. I've been festing in place, of course, listening to OZ in different places around the world, Trinidad and Tobago in the Netherlands, and driving my neighbors crazy, blaring the music. And I can't believe how long it's been. I'm excited to be here today. And after 2, which is really 3 years in Jazz Fest time of uncertainty, heartache, hurricanes, and unprecedented challenges, in 4 weeks, I'll be parking at my mom and dad's on Mystery Street and walking through those gates with 100,000 of my closest friends to celebrate. Every day, around 3,000 people go to work for Shell, all across Louisiana. Our assets from the Central Business District to our manufacturing complexes up the river, to our gas stations all the way down the bayou, including our people who work offshore more than 200 miles out in the Gulf of Mexico. Our people work every day to deliver energy to our customers, build a sustainable Louisiana, and lead the energy transition. Building a more sustainable Louisiana is something our friends at Jazz Fest are also committed to. And that's why we're excited to sponsor expanded recycling efforts this year at the Fest that will help benefit local nonprofit organizations and become the first music festival certified by the Council for Responsible Sport for Sustainability. Over the 7 days of Jazz Fest, the people and artists of Louisiana and New Orleans will show the world what real resilience, beauty, and spirit looks like. We all need to heal. And this isn't the first time that Jazz Fest has helped us heal as a community. Come back together after being apart. Think back to almost 7 years ago, after Hurricane Katrina, when the world thought New Orleans would never come back. What they saw instead was a Jazz Fest presented by Shell that showed the world the music, the spirit, and the joy of this community will always come back. As Jazz Fest returns, I am so proud that Shell is back again as presenting sponsor at a time when we all need to come back together to heal and to celebrate with our unique music, people, food, and culture to show the world once again that you can't keep us down. My first memories of Jazz Fest were when I really started to realize how different this place was. The beautiful blend of food and music, arts, diverse people, and culture. And now I have the opportunity to share this experience with my 3 growing boys and what it really means to be home. Thank you, and I hope to see you in line for Mango Freeze at the end of the day.
Okay, homegirl. In New Orleans, we don't build cars and airplanes and TV sets. We build people. We build tourists and we build conventions. Simply put, the hospitality industry is the backbone of our economy. Now, New Orleans and Company is responsible to manage that sector. Please welcome the Executive Vice President, General Counsel of New Orleans and Company, Walt Lejeune III.
So we're back, and we couldn't be more happy to be together, right? No place brings people together better than New Orleans. We show the world that each and every week. We showed them that during Mardi Gras, and we'll show them again during the Jazz and Heritage Festival. A day like this makes me long for the days where you walk into the fairgrounds and you see hundreds of flags fluttering in the breeze, and we're not too far off from that now. Thank you, Governor, Council Members Thomas and Green, for your commitment and support in doing everything that was necessary to make this happen. And of course, we should thank Quint. Nobody has agonized over this more over the last 3 years than Quint Davis. Quint is a true champion for the arts and for culture. And what's so special about this event is it celebrates all the things that are special about New Orleans: food, music, art, even sports, at one of the great sports venues in America. So Why is this so important for the people of the city of New Orleans? One, it means as a community we get to come together again to celebrate the things that make us unique. And two, it gets us an opportunity to show the world what makes us unique. Final Four this week, Jazz Fest right around the corner, major conferences and conventions coming back. What that means is that tens of thousands of New Orleanians who work in the cultural economy, who have chosen to live their lives building culture and sharing it with the world, will be able to get back to work in a sustainable and steady way. And that's why this matters the most. It matters the most to the people of our city that are the backbone of our city. So Quint, thank you for bringing back Jazz Fest. And on behalf of our 1,100 members, we couldn't be more happy to make the unprecedented commitment that we've made this year to make sure that the world is back and celebrating again. Thank you.
Thank you for celebrating my pain. But, you know, we were down but never out. The perseverance that we have, our organization, our staff, they're all ready. They stayed ready. Now, I hope you all know by, you know, I've introduced this, but I hope you know by now that the Jazz and Heritage Festival is owned by a nonprofit, the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Foundation. And man, they've been making tremendous contributions to the cultural community of New Orleans every year. Right. The president of the foundation and its board of directors is David Francis.
Good afternoon. Wow. After 3 false starts, we're finally here. Our nemesis, COVID, however, created challenges well beyond festival cancellations and social disruptions, though. The impact on our local artisans, culture bearers were physical, economic, and emotional. The New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Foundation recognized the traumatic circumstances, and through its prudent management of foundation resources, collaboration, and partnerships with like-minded organizations and individuals, we did our part. During this period, the foundation, in partnership with Music Rising, for example, will be distributing $1.7 million to local musicians and music workers before the Jazz Fest. Since the pandemic, we have distributed over $3.4 million to local musicians and music workers. So we continue to support our community as we see as our job and our mission. Our Heritage School of Music, for example, also continues to develop innovative ways to educate and mentor over 200 children and young adults annually in the arts. The Foundation's community partnership and impact grant distributed $1.5 million to various local groups during 2021 and 2022. These grants support music and arts education in the schools and after school, organizations presenting Louisiana music and culture, filmmakers, recording artists, and hundreds of organizations and individuals whose programs reflect the Foundation's mission. On a more personal basis, in response to the heartbreak and health toll COVID and other morbidities had on culture bearers, the Foundation distributed over $50,000 to defray funeral costs for those who were taken too soon from us. We, the Foundation, are steadfast in our belief in this community and our obligation to make it better. The Foundation Board also wants to recognize the extraordinary work done by the Foundation staff to continue this mission. With their passion, empathy, and creativity, they worked extraordinary hours to make sure that individuals receive the benefits that we distributed as a foundation. Their commitment to this, thank you. Their commitment to this community we serve has helped make life a little bit easier and gave hope for a better future. And to Quint, his staff at the Festival Productions and AEG, we thank you for your unwavering support and professionalism and the efforts you put forth to bring us to where we are today. It has been challenging and exhausting, but we know it's been worthwhile. And also to OZ. OZ kept the festival alive. OZ has grown our audience both locally, nationally, and internationally. And I think this festival, you will see probably the largest crowd ever, even beating our 50th anniversary crowd. And we give a lot of support and a lot of recognition to what OZ did to keep the brand alive. So we thank our artists, our vendors, and hundreds of individuals who take part in our celebration of Louisiana culture. So thank you, and let's get ready to party. Have a good one.
You know, I can't overemphasize what having sponsors to this festival means, particularly when we want to come back strong. We didn't want to come back, oh, New Orleans is kind of back, and what's going to happen, and they're going to, no. You know, from the talent, we wanted to come back strong. And our sponsors all came up, every one of them. I'm going to give you a list. The Shell, obviously, is our presenting sponsor. Louisiana Office of Tourism, Miller Lite, you all know that. Fairgrounds Racecourse and Swats. Is Doug Shipley here? Doug Shipley's the president of our facility, of the fairgrounds, and we don't have a better supporter than him every time that comes up. First Horizon Bank, People's Health, longtime sponsor. Coca-Cola and Monster Energy, with us a long time. AARP, which some of us are getting to know. Maui Jim Sunglasses, Audible, Ochsner Health, the New Orleans Tourism and Cultural Fund, who spoke today, and the Sheraton New Orleans Hotel, which is Jazz Fest official hotel. Last but not least, in our jazz tent and all over the festival, radio station WWOZ. Keep the rhythm alive all over the world. Well, the feature of today's announcement is the release of the festival music schedule, stage by stage, hour by hour, group by group. That's the Cubes. The Cubes will be available today on the festival website as nojazzfest.com. They're there, they'll be up. Now, when you look at what it is, it amounts to 14 full shows for 7 days, which is 91 shows of 5 acts each, plus 36 parades and powwows, a total of over 500 acts. Now, unlike the other 2-week festivals, Jazz Fest has a different show every day, all 7 days. And most unlike any other festival, over 400 of our artists are from New Orleans and Louisiana. I'm not just prejudiced, but there is no other music community that has both that quantity and that quality. It's not just we have a lot of musicians. We have a lot of great musicians at the very highest level. So I'm going to give you a few examples of how our music fits together with some of our guests. Not too many, Matt. So the first Saturday, we have Bonarama, Cyril Neville, Galactic, and The Who. Then you're going to see Big Frida and Busta Rhymes. We don't miss anything. And on the last day, which we always see is the heart of New Orleans and the heart of this festival, we'll go out with a tribute to Dr. John, Irma Thomas, Jimmy Buffett, and close with Trombone Shorty. So that's how our talent combines with other talent. So I urge you not just to look at like one artist or another artist, but look at each stage. Each stage is a festival. I mean, each stage is a concert each day. Oh, thanks for pointing that out. All right, another annual tradition for today is to feature the Jazz Fest poster. Terrence is here. It's called We Are Music, Portrait of John Batiste, and it's by Terrence Osborne. Terrence Osborne is one of the best, most talented artists that New Orleans has. He's part of the culture. He expressed it in these vibrant colors. Thank you, Terrence. Let's take it out. I mean, John Batiste was telling him, look, I want this in there. I want that in there. He was like, okay, I'll figure it out. Okay, I'll figure it out. And so another thing that also comes up is the festival clothing, the Hawaiian shirts, the sundresses. Is great design this year. I think David was wearing it when he came up. Now, one thing I really want to mention, and that is this will be the first year in 50 years that the founder and creator of the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Festival will not be with us. And that's George Wein, originally from Boston. And he came down here in 1970 with this vision. They wanted him to do a Newport festival. And he said, if you do that, you'll just be like Newport. New Orleans has something nowhere else can ever claim, and that's the birthright of jazz. And he stood out here in this field in 1972 and said, we're going to create a festival the whole world is going to come to. That's the kind of visionary he was, and we lost him this year. And we'll be very George Wein-centric. We'll have jazz funerals. We put together his band who will come down and play lots of things. Now, one last thing that I can tell y'all about is the Jazz Fest movie that's going to been bought by Sony Pictures, that after 3 years is coming out in late May in theaters across America. It's not going to stream. It's going to movie theaters, and Sony's been supporting this like any other movie. The title is Jazz Fest, A New Orleans Story. So, in closing, happy Jazz Fest, and we're back. Take it away, kin folks.
When the saints go marching in. Hey. Oh Lord, I'd like to be with my baby. When the saints go marching in. Oh, when the sun refused to shine. By the body when the sun refused to shine. Oh Lord, I'd like to be in that number. Oh, when